Place, wherever you're watching us right around Australia, the changing face of Calder Park. Here's the big ball in the sky starting to dip down, and there's the moon. What a contrast we've got. The sun's gone down, the moon's come up, and the lights have come on. And this is the time we've waited for all over the day. Have a look at this. Calder Park, is this a sign of the future? Fantastic sight, plenty of people, plenty of action.
Pretty interesting experience out here at night time. Are you looking forward to this next race?
I am. The guy said, what an introduction to motor racing. It's well, wasn't the best start wasn't the start I wanted, and it wasn't the race I predicted, but we had to deal with the problems as it sort of come up. So hopefully we're not too far back. I think we end up fifth, so we're third row. We're still there. We're going to get a good start, get a good race, and hopefully we can, now with this pit stop race, anything can happen.
Yes, your pit stops were very good yesterday, so I mean, you make up 3 or 4 seconds, that's going to mean a big difference, isn't it?
It will make a huge difference for me, because I won't have to make that up on the circuit. So now it's up to the guys again to they're under pressure as well as I am, and so if they can do the right job, and hopefully I can get a good start, and hopefully have a good race, hopefully we'll be there at the finish.
Well, good luck, Craig. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. David Parsons, Racing Under Lights, a fairly new experience for you.
Yeah, it certainly is. I'm really enjoying the whole concept of racing, and looking really forward to it.
Now, the cars have been going pretty well, although the first one for you wasn't too good.
No, I thought I was back in the HQs. It was all happening, biffing and shoving and going and what have you, but that's motor racing. That's the way it is. It's very, very tight, and that's the luck of the draw.
Well, thanks a lot and good luck.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, that's the scene, David Parsons summing it up pretty well. And they're all a bit nervous because it's a brand new experience. The car's coming out on the circuit now. Let's have a look at the grid, how they'll line up. Very important. Glenn Seton sits on pole.
Right next to him, Larry Perkins.
That'll be a duel off the line. Behind him, Peter Brock.
And his old fighting mate for many years, Dick Johnson.
Plenty of wheel spin of those two. Craig Lowndes.
And John Bower with a point to prove after having come off so early in the first race.
Lowndes wants to make a much better start than the one he made. Well, there he is, the man himself, Peter Brock. He's heading around, looks a little tense. He's been in and out of cars, Oscars, and of course the V8s all day, so he's starting to get a bit weary. We'll take a break, come back, all the action. The V8s under lights at Calder Park. 25 laps, the second race, 58 kilometres. They're going to go round here. And boy, oh boy, this is a sight I'm going to remember for a while. In Australia is Peter Brock. There he is, sitting in the car, warming up the tyres, giving the wheel a good old seesaw. Well, Peter, it's been a big day. You've been in the V8s, you've been in the Oscars. This is the one you've waited for.
Ah, yes. This is going to be the one that's going to introduce a new element to motor racing.
Peter, do you think this could be a sign of the future for touring car racing?
You just drop down a little bit there, but my feeling is that this is a whole new way of presenting motorsport. You know, it's the entertainment plus. It's got for night time a lot of families out here with their picnic baskets and goodness knows what. It really is fabulous to be part of it, I can tell you.
Peter, it's Alan here. With the pit stops that you made yesterday, you must be fairly confident. I mean, if you can, all you've got to do is keep the boys literally within striking distance, and the pit stop that you made yesterday should put you in good stead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Darrell. That's the way I'm going to figure it. For some reason, the cars are not getting up the line at the moment. But, boy, if I can get up the line, keep it clean, get it behind LP, and really keep it in striking distance of Glenn, yeah, we're looking bloody good.
Hey, Pete, the first start from you and Lowndes, it was a shocker.
Well, honestly, Craig's must have been diabolical. I mean, mine was bad enough, but his must have been good.
All right, mate, we'll let you get down to it. Concentrate, we'll talk to you during the race.
Thank you, mate.
Straights, and all the boys were worried about their brakes. It's very hard on them.
Yeah, Neil Crompton, of course, spun pretty early, or halfway through, I suppose, the race there, but definitely Wayne Gardner said he had nothing left at the end of it, so we'll see what happens. But here they are, lined up, lights on, crowds revved up, the engine's revving up, just a few seconds away from the start. 1987 was the last time. Remember, 19 of the 22 cars broke the lap record in race 1. The dash for the first corner. Here we go.
Glenn Seton's done another fabulous start.
No doubt about it. So has the Coke car come up, right up behind Larry Perkins second. Which one is it? Oh! One car off into the wall, and that still goes, and everybody misses him. The Coke car is off, and it's Wayne Gardner.
Well, I've heard of the last of the late breakers, but that's ridiculous.
Well, Gardner will be absolutely ropeable, let me tell you, because he was very confident the car with better brakes was going to go okay. But look at Glenn.
Oh, look, hello, who's that? Dick's off as well.
Every which way. Well, let's say they've said it's pretty hard to pick an apex here under lights. I don't know if it's because it's early and everyone's together, but certainly plenty of action. Glenn Seton, though, he's number one. Have a look at Larry Perkins.
Oh, someone just had a nice little touch up the backside running into... who was that now? It must have been a back marker. See how they're not... There's a big gap there. There was definitely contact coming into that right-hander, and that's what's caused that gap.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, lap one of race one was pretty exciting. Lap one of race two, unbelievable. Gardner basically got punted off there.
Oh, Glenn's gone too wide under brakes. He went in too deep. That's allowed Larry to go through on the inside. He left his braking too late, went in too deep, and Larry's taken advantage of it.
So Larry Perkins now reverses the situation from race one. He chased Glenn Seton right around the whole circuit, the entire race. Now Seton's got to chase him.
Actually, Brock is very well placed. If he can just stay where he is, the way his crew's working on those pit stops, that will bring him out in front if this is the way it remains.
Remember, compulsory pit stops. They've got to go in, change all tyres. No fuel, just tyres. We reckon a good stop's going to be about 10 or 11 seconds. A slow one, 13 or 14 seconds.
Neil Crompton in the pits, so it looks like he's in early trouble.
Bad night for the Coke cars. Gardner punted off and Crompton into the pits already. That's bad luck because they've been running strong. Now it's Larry Perkins. He leads Glenn Seton down. Then Peter Brock. Have a look at the gap back to Johnny Bow, who's in fourth. Then it's Crick. Then Romano. Escape. Way back in seventh place.
Johnny Bow's back in fourth, but he's just done a 57.7, which is almost a second quicker than anybody at this point. Look at that. It's a great shot.
This is Seton's view. Glenn Seton in behind Larry Perkins.
Over the brow of the hill. Up through the gears, through the chicane, flat chat, whoop, and then down into second gear for this right-hander. Hard on brakes. This is one of the hardest braking areas next to the right-hander at the end of the straight. Through the right-hander, keep it nice and tight. That'll let it coming up, let it drift out a little bit, but not too far because there's that nasty big bump there. And now a very important corner, because how quickly and cleanly you come off here determines if you can get a toe and keep close enough to LP to try and get him under brakes at the end of the straight.
There they are, 1, 2 and 3 as they slam their way back onto the main straight. Seton starts to try and get right up under the bumper bar and the wing of Larry Perkins' Commodore. Can't do it though. Brock just backs off maybe a car length or two. Let's have a look at him under brakes.
Yeah, Glenn quite good under brakes. Look at those flames shooting out either side. The big V8s coming back. Oh, it looks fantastic, doesn't it? But look, hello, Glenn's having a real go here.
Seton now puts plenty of pressure with a capital P right on to Larry Perkins. Peter Brock back in third over the rise. There's nothing in this. There's the gap back to Johnny Bowers in fourth. He's actually starting to pick him up.
He is, and he's still continuing to lap quicker than anybody at the moment. He's done a 57.5. The next quickest was actually Brock at a 57.7. So Bow continues to lap quicker than anybody.
Larry Perkins knows his way around here. No trouble with that. And he knows that Glenn Seton won race one. He came second. He'd like to reverse that. Peter Brock sitting back there. Remember the pit stop. Going to be critical. Very, very critical. And the Holden racing team have been by far the best stoppers right over practice.
Been an unusual amount of dropouts so early in this race. Lowndes is out now. He's actually parked his car in what was becoming quick. We'll try and find out what's happened to him.
Really is that no luck, Craig Lowndes. He started off the front row in race one and went sort of nowhere off the line and then just really disappeared down the field. Now he's had to pull out with problems this time round. Johnny Bow certainly starting to close in on Peter Brock.
Yeah, now look, you can see Bow, he's just coming over the brow of the hill now. He's perceptibly just moving in about 0.2 of a second each lap. He'll be right on Brock's tail shortly.
Let's go down to Charles Stewart, the pits. He's got some information on Craig Lowndes.
Yes, Darrell, very disappointed Craig Lowndes. Engine trouble has put him out of the race already. He won't be back in it.
Yeah, you might find out what's happening with the Coke cars too, Charles, because they've had a bad night. Okay, he's on his way to do that, and here we are now as Larry Perkins comes back onto the line. There's Seton tucks in behind him. Then it's Brock. Then it's Bow. Certainly closing up. Bow now right on the tail of Brock.
This is really going to hot up in a minute. This is really... Look at those discs blowing on Seton's car as he really hammers the brakes.
Great stuff. Back with Seton again. Here's look at Larry Perkins. Have a look at the Commodore and tell me what you see.
Well, I see the Commodore out accelerating the Falcon. I see the Falcon slightly better under brakes, mid-corner. We've known this all year, but look at it just getting away now. See, under acceleration. situation. There's no doubt that Larry's got the legs on him up the straight. Glenn makes up ground under brakes and actually through the corners. You watch. Now Glenn will come up on him here. He'll point in a little better. Look, there you go. Through this section, the Falcon should be slightly better. It's mid-corner superiority. Looks right on him. And now we're going into the right-hand that leads back onto the main straight. So if we can stay here for a second, we'll see the whole... Whoop, no, Larry got a wheel up on the curve then, and that would have cost him a little bit. He would have been able to come on as cleanly as he would have liked, but he still manages to pull away. Look at that. The Falcon can't stay with him with a toe.
What about the lighting? I mean, it's not too bad, is it? I mean, the drivers have been saying it's been really hard to pick up the apexes, but from where we're looking now, it's not as bad as I thought.
No, it's not, but it's surprising. It would be... I just saw a car down the escape road then with the headlights facing back to us, but it would be hard because even when the lights are on, they're shining against you a lot of the time. You're actually driving into the lights, and that would make the apex very difficult to see.
So there we go. Larry Perkins, Seton really putting the pressure on now. Brock sitting back in third, and Johnny Bowes close right up behind him. So now there's 4 to do battle. Remember, they'll come in, we reckon, about lap 10. The first of the cars will jump in. Now it'll be a brave driver who's going to pick when to go. Do you go early, or do you go in a bit later?
Don't ask me, I'm only a racing driver. Interestingly enough, Daz, the speeds on the start-finish line, which is approximately halfway down the straight, where you can see the yellow terror sign right there, is car number 35 is actually quickest at 211 kilometres now in front of Glenn, his teammate, 211. Car 11, Larry Perkins, 210. Car number 1, 210. And car 015, 210. So there's parity for you. You can't get much closer than that.
You certainly can't. And Johnny Bow now slams it up the inside of Peter Brock and takes one. So he's moved up to third place. Wasn't that a pretty move?
Now, Bowie on the charge. This will be worth watching.
Johnny Bow just jumped up the inside, slammed it up inside Brock. Brock had no answer, had to give way, so he's up into third. So it's now Holden, Ford and Holden. Here's Peter Brock's point of view as he chases Johnny Bow. Great sound of the bumbo as it comes out of the V8. Don't you just love it? Moving around quite a bit. Down past the main straight area once again. Flash past us. Into the braking area. Now watch Brock under brakes.
I know that John Bow doesn't particularly like driving in the night time. I shared a car with him at Bathurst in the 12 hour, and I was speaking to him this year at the 12 hour at Eastern Creek. And because he wears glasses, he doesn't particularly like driving at night time because he gets a certain amount of reflection from those lights on his glasses. But I tell you what, he's still not doing a bad job.
Yeah, I can relate to that, and you could do that too. So down in the pits, Charles Stewart. Oh, there's Wayne Gardner talking to Alan Heafy, so he's just explaining what happened. He's the boss, I guess. He can explain and say what he likes.
Well, he doesn't have to explain.
Not too happy, though, as you can see. He says, I was punted, I was just pushed down. And both cars out of the race. He wouldn't be happy with that. He's very proud of their finishing record of late and, in the season. He was really hoping to have a big result here for Coca-Cola. Great side here. Larry Perkins, Seton, Bow, Brock. They're the first 4. And there we are. There's the man at work himself, Peter Brock, up into 4th spot.
Peter, it's Alan here. Can you hear me?
I'll talk to you a little bit later, but as you can see him working there, I mean, he always looks pretty relaxed in the cockpit, doesn't he?
Well, he does. I mean, Peter is an unbelievable driver. He can sit there for lap after lap, and then for some unknown reason, halfway through or whatever, when he decides to go, he really does go. Pete, we might try and speak to you now. Can you hear me? It's Alan here.
Hello.
How's it going, pal?
It's going beautiful. I'm just sort of gauging myself on where Larry is. I'm keeping nice and accurate. I keep coming in about lap 19. He's a fresh tire. I'm currently lapping 57, and I'm hoping no one actually gets a move on because I'm very concerned about Larry being a bit of a gap, but I'm doing okay.
What about that move Johnny Bow put on you? Wasn't a bad one?
No, I thought to myself, Johnny, if I stay here, I can see myself going halfway down to Footscray. I had to give a bit of room, but, well, I don't mind because as long as we're sort of keeping the strategy, it's pretty good.
Okay, mate, we'll leave you to it.
Okay.
There he is, Peter Brock, nice and relaxed, and we got him on a fairly bad part of the circuit there too. He worked pretty hard.
Yeah, it's always preferable to talk to them when they're going down the straight. There's nothing worse than just about to go into a corner and have a couple of idiots like us say, how's it going, mate?
So, how's it going for Larry Perkins? Okay.
Oh, someone's just gone there. Oh, someone's coming to the pits. I thought it was down the escape road.
Glenn Seton got very close, wasn't a touch, but was pretty close. Johnny Bow now, Brock, starting to close up, and Charles Stewart down in pit lane has Wayne Gardner with him.
Yes, Darrell. Wayne, not a good night for you guys.
No, I've had better days and nights rather than this. No, that was a little unfortunate. Mark Quill speed off into the wall, and I seen him hit the wall in front of me. He was coming out, and I got off the brakes so that I could get round him instead of hitting him. And by the time I did that, got back on the brakes, I ran a road and just speed off into the dirt. It was either do that or hit Mark, and I didn't want to cause a huge accident, so I speed off into the kitty litter.
And Neil damaged the steering?
I just heard them talking that he hit a rock or something and bent the steering arm. So, yeah, it certainly hasn't been a good night for the Coke team.
Well, thanks very much anyway.
No worries, thank you.
Wayne Gardner, funny moment. I saw Kevin Swanson, Wayne, down there drilling over the cars. It's a funny, both world champions on 500s, both in car racing now, and they'll put their heads together and have a big chat.
I'm sure of that. But I tell you what, Johnny Bow really on the charge. Now, he's just broken the lap record set by Glenn Seton in race 1. He's done a 56.8. So John Bow well and truly on the charge.
Glenn Seton, you're riding with him as he chases Larry Perkins down the main straight area. Tosses it round the right-hander. This is where Bow went underneath Brock. A few laps back. Closes right up on Larry Perkins. But again, the Holden's got the toe to get away. Watch it again. Closes up yet again.
Watch the acceleration. See how he just gets away there? And that's pretty well been the story most of the year. You know, the Falcons, as I said before, mid-corner, very strong, quite good under brakes, but out of the corner and actually straight line speed, the Holden definitely has the advantage. Now, Brocky is sitting absolutely perfectly, I reckon. He's got the 3 cars in front of him, just in front of him. If he stays there with the pit stops that they're doing, he will come out in the lead.
Yeah, remember that I'm picking up around about 4 seconds on everybody in the pits, which is 4 seconds he doesn't have to make up on the road.
Well, exactly, and he's only 1 second behind the leader at the moment. So, as I said, if he can stay there, he's looking good.
Of course, the big gamble is when do you go in?
Well, that's the $65,000 question.
It'll be interesting if they all go in, let me tell you. The other thing is that the pit lane here, you'll see when the cars start to come in, some have lit up pretty well, which is what the Holden racing team have done, so that their mechanics really get a good look at what they're doing. Some of the other pits are quite dark, so that's going to be a handicap for those teams.
Well, it is. I mean, there's only really 3 teams along pit row that have got lights on. One, of course, is the Coca-Cola team, so maybe they can lend their lights to somebody else now.
So Brocky running in behind Johnny Bow, runs in behind Seton, who runs in behind Perkins. Parsons now is coming to the top movers too, so that's a better drive from him. So the 2 Fords now, sandwiched between 2 Holdens, and there's nothing in this.
And also, I've got to, at this stage, I suppose, give a plug for my new teammate, Romano, who's in 7th position and the leading privateer. So, Paul Romano going really well.
New teammate for 1996, and of course, AJ's Falcons. And I've got to ask you the question, how are they going? How's the preparation?
Fantastic. They're looking unbelievable. I knew the Stone brothers were good, but I just had no idea they were that good. The cars are just coming on fantastic.
So AJ's pretty excited. He's been a bit toey here all day, let me tell you. Up in the commentary box watching these things. You don't do that too often.
I'm not a good spectator, Daz, that's for sure, and I'd love to be out there. I mean, this just looks fantastic.
All right, well, pit stop time is getting closer now, so this is going to be interesting. Seton and Bow, look at them riding the curbs right together, the 2 Fords. Great sight, isn't it? Larry Perkins out in front, and Seton's made the first move. He's coming to the pits first. Now, Charles Stewart's down in the pits. He's got a stopwatch running. Charles, Seton's taken the gamble, and he's going to be the first to change. Seton now comes down into the pit lane. We'll try and pick up Charles Stewart, who's down in that area as soon as we can, because he's going to cover him and give us some times. Seton's in now. Watch him go to work. Was running second on the road when he came in and gets away. It's a really lengthy stop.
Yeah, that's not a bad stop. Nice and clean. Glenn came in really clean without, being absolutely stupid. They've done a really good, clean stop. So, yep, no complaints there, I wouldn't think.
All right, so Seton now is, remember, he was second on the road when he came into the pits. We'll pick up where he is now on the road. But back with a leading bunch, it's still Perkins, now Bow, and of course Brock, 1, 2 and 3.
Yeah, well, the main thing now is that Brocky really doesn't want to allow Larry to get that far in front, because if Larry obviously gets more than 3 or 4 seconds in front, that's going to undo all the advantage. Look at the disc shining on Bow. It's going to undo all the advantage that Peter will make up in the pits. So
Nick Johnson now, he's decided to come in. Here he comes, Queensland's favourite person. Well, hang on. I knew that'd get a response. They always call him Queensland's favourite son, don't they?
He's a person now.
So Nicky Johnson makes his way out.
Politically correct.
He's out of calculations, but look how hot those disc brakes are. They are just glowing. Inside the car. Tense time for Dick. Enthralling battle this. This is great. Sucking up plenty of fluid.
Those two knobs that you can see on the left-hand side of Dick's arm are the roll bar controls. He can actually move them forward and backwards to soften or stiffen the roll bars on the car.
So Johnson now back out, and look where he's come back out onto. Right in front of his teammate. Now he goes past us. Says, move over, boss. Coming through at pace. Brocky goes underneath Johnson too. Larry Perkins.
Well, that was very gentlemanly of him, because he could have actually let Bowie go through and then got in right behind him, very quick, smart, and held Peter up a bit.
So Johnson's been in, Seton's been in, Larry Perkins yet to go in, Peter Brock yet to go in. And the laps are starting to tick away, so you'd expect them to do it any time now.
Yeah, I think we're only a lap away from seeing Peter go in, I really do.
So on the road, that's how they are, 1, 2 and 3. Remember, Seton already stopped. Here we go.
No, Peter's staying out. Perkins is in, and Bowie's in, and Brocky's staying out there.
Well, this makes an interesting battle. Brock's decided to go on with it. Perkins has come in. Bowers come in. Now, this is where you'll see the war in the pits, because both cars coming in at exactly the same time.
Yeah, and the teams love this, because it really does give them an input into the result of the race. I mean, it does put enormous amount of pressure on the crews. You know, their cars coming in, they see the guy that he's fighting with coming in, it's all down to them.
And look at this, they're almost side by side, nose to tail. Larry Perkins has got one of those dark area pits we talked about.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Larry had both hands on a lever then. I mean, I don't know why he had both hands on the gear stick. It looked like he might have had trouble getting to gear, but he's certainly in a dark section of the pits, that's sure. Here he goes, that's a good stop. He's beaten Bowie. No, Bowie's out. Will Bowie fall in front of him? Yes. Oh,
both out together. How about that?
That's what you do. That's... Oh, look at this.
This is great. Have a look at this. Perkins says, move over on muscle weight. Johnny Bow says, no, you won't. I got you in the pits, and I'll get you out of the pits. Well, it's on.
Here comes Brocky.
Here comes Brock. All right, confusing now, because this is the last of the big contenders coming in. Peter Brock, they have been so much quicker. Can they do it?
Well, as I said before, they're the only team that have glued the nut to the wheel. So when they pull that wheel off, the nut that's already on there just falls on the ground. They don't worry about that. And when they put the new wheel on, the nut's already attached to it. And this is what's making their stop so quick.
Watch it. 1 on, 2 on.
Oh, yeah.
Good stop. That was a good stop. Crowd's gone up. The big salutes come out of the stand in front of us. That was a good stop.
Well, I think that'll just about put him in the lead, you know.
Well, Brocky blasts his way out, and they've done it. The pit crew, gee whiz, they have been lightning fast right through all of the practice time here. Look at him light them up on cold
went
tyres.
in a bit deep there. He just cold tyres. He's gone into the corner, left his braking a little late. The tyres went up to the temperatures, the ones that he was a little bit of understeer there, and he'll have to bring these tyres back up to racing temperature. Having said that, now he's got a very good lead over everybody. I'd say he's got about a 3 or 4 second lead.
So, Charles Stewart down in the pits.
Yes, Darrell, I can confirm that that pit stop for Peter Brock was very hot. 11 seconds. That's the fastest pit stop by about 6 seconds so far. So that's made him up an awful lot of ground. Very handy indeed in this race.
Yeah, Chuck, just tell me, has it been the difference of having those nuts into the wind rod?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Dick Johnson's car, they had to put in 4 studs, 5 studs on each wheel.
Yeah.
And with him, just one, bang, it's away.
All right, thanks, Chuck. And the crowd here acknowledging Peter Brock as he comes down past the line. I tell you what, he's pretty popular here at Calder.
Well, I tell you what, they've played this really well. Their tactics have been terrific, you know. Peter did a good start. Bowie got him on the inside. He didn't want to fight him too hard because he knew that if he could keep the leaders within 1 or 2 seconds, he would come out in the lead, and that's exactly what's happened. So they've played this really well.
All right, well, let's bring up the date now, because Peter Brock does lead from Johnny Bow. Larry Perkins back in third. Seton's back to fourth, so that didn't pay off going in early. Mark Scaife is there. Peter Brock, your crew have done a fantastic job. We might wait for him to get back on that straight area, because it's pretty tense through there. Peter, I don't know if you can hear me, but your pit crew did a fantastic job. Unfortunately, we can't hear him back. There's just far too much noise, but I think he'd be pretty excited about what the job they did for him.
I think you'll owe him a beer. I think he might even owe a slab after this.
But he's driving pretty well, so Brocky, won't he be a happy chappy getting this one if he gets it home? Brocky, Bow, Perkins, 1, 2 and 3. Then it's Seton, Scaife.
The battle between Perkins and Seton still continues to rage. There's hardly anything separating them at all.
Amazing, you know, how races can turn around. I mean, here the two Holden Racing team cars were sitting on the front row for race one, made lousy starts, paid the penalty for it. They've come out, this was the race that they'd worked out tactically that they could win, and they've done it so far.
Well, exactly. I mean, for the first race, he positioned himself in he finished in a situation where he was going to be third finisher, therefore on the second row, and he knew that if he did a good start and could keep up with the leaders, he'd win this race, and that's exactly the way it's gone.
Johnny Bow sits in second place, took the gamble to come in with Larry Perkins, and I mean, you saw that battle. It was won fractionally by Johnny Bow.
Well, I mean, if Bowie comes out in front of you, he's a hard man to pass, and you know, that's the reputation he's got. And you know, if I was Larry and saw that the back end of that Falcon pull out in front of me, I would think, oh no.
It was quite funny when he's telling you down at pit lane there about race one. He said, I was getting crunched from the back. I was running up people from the front of me. I was getting crunched again. He said, I was almost in the glove box.
Yeah, but he's philosophical about it all. He's a good racer, John, and he gives as good as he gets, and he doesn't bitch. So, you know, he's just a good racer.
Larry Perkins runs in third place in the Castrol Commodore now. Right in behind him is Seton, so that battle is still pretty hot too. Have a look at this, nose to tail, and that battle is for third and fourth.
Well, Glenn's really got to do it in the next lap because we're running out of laps. And see, but the trouble is Larry gets away from him down the straight, and that's very frustrating. I mean, you can be good under brakes, and you can be slightly quicker through the corners, but if the guy's quicker down the straights, it's very frustrating.
Let me ask you a question. We're the only country, I think, that goes motor racing in winter months. Now that you've seen this exercise under lights here at Calder, I mean, would it be smarter if we did this in the summer months?
Oh, it's a good question. I think really and truly, whatever we do, we've got to do it for the spectators because they're the ones we're doing it for. I mean, and whatever puts on the good show and produces the best racing, let's do it.
Here's the battle inside the cockpit. Seton desperately wanting to get past Larry Perkins. Seesaws at the wheel. Really, look at the body language now, trying so hard. Remember, he won the first race. Larry Perkins was second. He's looking for overall points. Brocky out front with Bow. This is the battle for third and fourth.
Larry going down on the right-hand side of the road just to make sure that Glenn can't come through under brakes, but I don't think you should worry about that because he just pulls about 4 car lengths.
Unbelievable. On the final lap now, so positions up for grabs. Remember, overall point score here. We'll give you the tally at the end of the race, but these positions are vital.
Well, it's an aggregate system, and it's going to be added from race 1 and race 2, so you're right. It's but at this stage of the game, obviously, Brocky's not only won this race, but he's won overall, which is not a bad race meeting to win if you're Peter Brock.
Yeah, it's almost like somebody wrote the script. Larry Perkins, winner of Bathurst this year, coming from last place to first place. Peter Brock, though, has come out in first place.
Done it.
Look at the crowd have gone berserk here. Let me tell you, they love this man in Australia. He's taken the checkered flag. He wins the second race here. Fine style from Johnny Bow comes in second. Larry Perkins should come along in third. Here we go now, and Glenn Seton right up behind him is fourth. In fifth place will be Mark Scaife in the Gibson Racing car. So Peter Brock has pulled it off. He's won it. They knew that they could win it in the pits. That was the question. We'll take a break, come back with all the celebrations. Please stay with us. drive there to finish in 6th spot in that race in the night time. Okay, let's have a look at the overall points. Have a look who's there. Peter Perfect on 34 from Glenn Seton on 32. Larry Perkins, he finished with 30 points in 3rd place. So P Perfect does it, and the man with him pit side at the moment is Charles Stewart.
Peter Brock, you couldn't have done this better if you scripted it, could you?
I couldn't have. Look, I was talking to Darrell earlier. I don't know if they got what I was saying. I said, look, if I can keep Larry in sight and hang in here, we're looking pretty good in this with this whole pit stop caper, and that's the way it worked out. It was sensational.
Yeah, it was a crackerjack stop. It was only 11 seconds, and it was so much faster than all the rest.
Yeah, well, I suppose it reminds me, see, we've got a bit of Beatlemania at the moment. It reminds me of that song, I Get By With a Little Help From A Friend. Those boys were fantastic.
Now, what about the other drivers? Do you think that they were going a bit easy on you tonight, Peter?
Well, I've got a few dents on the car that sort of would probably say otherwise. That was a good race. I mean, we were lapping in mid-57s the whole way there, and it was a matter of strategy, and I was wrapped the way it worked out.
Yeah, you were very excited at the end of this. Now, I mean, do you get this excited this often?
No, to be perfectly honest, what I love to see happen is the boys have put so much work in. I mean, they just put an enormous amount of work into getting this pit stop stuff down pat. They're setting a new standard, really, for the rest of the guys. And to see it come to fruition, I mean, it didn't happen at Santa, it didn't happen at Bathurst. Pit stop strategy here worked. I'm wrapped for the boys particularly.
Well, I guess they'll have $5,000 to spend as the fastest pit crew as well, won't they?
Yes, and I think there might be some very interesting stories to tell as to how they actually dispersed that $5,000 too.
Now, the other thing too, of course, not only did you win that race, you are the overall winner of your own event.
Oh, that's disgusting. I'm embarrassed now. You should have told me that, Charles. I was thinking, well, maybe you got a podium finish, but oh, that's great. I'm very happy about that.
Well, mate, congratulations. A wonderful effort and a wonderful team effort.
Yes, it was a great team effort, and I've been saying for a long time, motor racing is a team sport, and that proves it.
Well, Brocky, congratulations. You're an adornment for the sport.
Thanks.
Great sight as the Calder Park underlights this big crowd. They've stayed around to hear that, man. The emotional words of Peter Brock. So happy to come out and win the event. There he is there. The champagne ready to go, and there'll be plenty being sprayed around too.
Well, Glenn's taking it very seriously. He's attacking everybody with it.
Glenn Seton, of course, and Larry Perkins, the minor place fellas, but Brock not only won the race, but took the event.
Look, you know, you couldn't script it better. And as you said, Darrell, like the atmosphere here tonight's been absolutely fantastic. And congratulations, you know, to Calder and putting on a great show. And I guess the Bridgestone coming first and second. I mean, you couldn't get better than that either.
I've got to say, Jonesy, you've got to go back to the days of Oran Park when the Ford and Holden battles were strong, with blokes like Johnny Goss and company running around. Peter Brock, of course, was part of that. And big crowds used to flock to Sydney under lights at Oran Park many years ago. It reminded me a lot of that tonight. The emotion, the excitement, the colour. It's been terrific.
It has, and you know, you really don't detract from the fact that these V8s, these 5-litre cars now, is so close that this is what the fans love. They love to see these big 5-litre V8s racing that close with the flames coming out. It's been a great spectacle.
Peter Brock wins, holds the trophy up. Glenn Seton, Larry Perkins, they take second and third. Plenty of smiles, some happy people, and Peter Brock winning the event. Well, it's been quite a day. I mean, we've had a hot afternoon and we've had a hot night under lights.
And we've also had hot racing as well. You know,